Welcome back to Fox and Friends. Well, on paper, the economy looks strong, but for many young Americans, those numbers aren't resonating. And with November's midterms around the corner, the economy is top of mind for voters. We're going to bring in a Gen Z influencer and entrepreneur, Bo Loudon, to see what he thinks. Bo, welcome to the show. Tell me, what is your thought on the big burrito debate? What are you thinking? And also, what are your friends thinking about this?
Thank you for having me. I think this is something that's been affecting my generation for a while, especially with a lot of the past presidencies. They've been destroying our economy. And with things like socialism, they ruin our country, and it's a short-term benefit. Let's make everything free, and then it really hurts my generation in the long run. It just tanks the economy like it is now. So, I mean, you have President Trump taking a broken economy and fixing it immediately as he gets into office. I'm glad he's not a socialist. I'm glad he's not going to make us feel good for a couple months. The work he's doing now with tariffs and all this work to help the economy is stuff that he's a businessman. He's built companies. He knows it's a long process. And he's setting that up now so that we will have a good future. And I think we're looking forward to that.
You're right to bring up socialism. It's not just a buzzword. It's government spending and debt that is really a key driver of inflation. And, of course, all the money that was spent needlessly, a lot of it during COVID as well, also drove up inflation. It definitely started under the last administration. I want you to listen. I want you to hear this. This is Mark Thiessen. He was George W. Bush's former speechwriter. When he heard about young people, of course, Andrew Clovet from Turning Point brought it up and said, hey, what's up with these $20 burritos? It's hard on young people. And which was a fair point. But Mark Thiessen replied and said, cry me a river. The burritos in the college cafeteria are included in your meal plan. Then Dan Crenshaw weighed in saying, stop whining, get a job, eat ramen, sort of the typical, almost boomer responses to these complaints. Isabel Brown says, reminder that the same people calling 10 million unemployed Gen Zers whiny and entitled over $20 burritos are also introducing mass amnesty bills for 10 million illegal immigrants to help the economy. Finally, Scott Greer says it's never a good sign in politics when your side begins demanding that people eat ramen. So who's right about this? I mean, you represent a generation, or specifically a demographic of young men that President Trump won over, but a lot of them are feeling the pinch right now. So what's your advice to people who are running, especially Republicans, but also Democrats, on the burrito gate?
I mean, yeah, if you want to look at candidates calling a generation stupid like Kamala Harris did, it didn't work out very well for her. And I understand that things like socialism are very tempting for my generation to be interested in. It sounds nice, ooh, everything's free, but it's not real. It's realistic. You can see any country that's ever tried this, they fail. And it's a nuclear bomb that destroys every economy. So I think my generation needs to focus on the candidates that care about them, that know they're smart, that know that they're going to work for them in the long term. The Democrats couldn't win any elections. That's why they had to import a bunch of migrants, illegal immigrants, to vote in their elections. And it's really nasty, the game they're trying to play. And of course they want us to eat ramen. They want our systems to be poisoned. They're not at all in this Maha cause. We want to eat